The sky was a sickly puce, churning with chem storms and the contrails of dying spacecraft. The ground was a mud of ash, blood, and promethium. The air thundered with the basso profondo of artillery and the relentless chatter of distant bolters. Into this nightmare, a shimmering golden portal irised open with the sound of a ringing wine glass. Lucifer Morningstar stepped through, impeccably dressed in a three-piece Tom Ford suit of charcoal gray. He took a deep, anticipatory breath, his face contorted in immediate, profound disgust. He gagged. What a dreadful chorus. If your palate craves finer tales than this grimy epic, the cure is simple. Subscribe to the infinite galaxy multiverse. Consider it an upgrade for your soul. Notes of cordite, open bowel, existential despair, and is that literal demon? Revolting. The portal sealed behind him. He smoothed his lapels, trying to reclaim his composure, and looked around at the apocalyptic vista, his dark eyes wide not with fear, but with aesthetic offense. Well, this is a significant downgrade. A whistle screamed overhead. Lucifer looked up, bored. An artillery shell slammed into the ground 10 meters away. The explosion was deafening, a plume of dirt and fire. Shrapnel pinged off an invisible barrier an inch from his suit. He didn't flinch. He flicked a speck of dirt from his sleeve. From the smoke, figures emerged. Not soldiers, monsters in ceramite. Space Marines of the Crimson Fists chapter, their blue armor scarred and blackened. One, a sergeant with a grizzled face, leveled a bolt pistol. "Identify yourself, warp spawn," Lucifer sighed, a long, suffering sound. "Spawn? My dear heavily armored fellow, I am a proprietor, a connoisseur. I was seeking a change of pace. This seems less a pace and more a catastrophic seizure." "His speech is a corruption. Purge the unclean," the sergeant barked. Bolters roared. Muzzle flashes illuminated Lucifer's bemused face. The bolts froze in mid-air before him, spinning uselessly. He plucked one from the air, examining it. How dreadfully literal. With a thought, the bolts reversed trajectory, hitting the Marine's chest plates with dull thumps, knocking them back but not piercing. They staggered, shocked. A larger figure stepped forward. Chaplain Dardanus, skull helmet gleaming, a crackling Crozius Arcanum in hand. He radiated palpable, faith-fueled hatred. "You will not confound us, creature. The Emperor's light reveals all." He charged, moving with shocking speed for his size, his weapon swinging in an arc of holy energy. Lucifer, for the first time, moved. He sidestepped, but the chaplain anticipated. The weapon grazed Lucifer's shoulder. Sizzle. The fabric of his suit burned, and Lucifer felt it. A jolt of pain, not physical but psychic, a scalding burn of pure weaponized faith. He looked at his smoldering sleeve, then at the chaplain. His expression shifted from amusement to genuine, open-mouthed surprise. Oh, that actually tingled. "Die, abomination!" The chaplain pressed the attack. Lucifer now dodged in earnest, his movements a blur. He wasn't fighting, he was appraising. A bolt of searing light from the Crozius narrowly missed him, vaporizing a tank hull. Fascinating. You've channeled collective belief into a cudgel. It's philosophically crude, but technically impressive for mortals. "Silence!" Lucifer's patience snapped. His eyes flared with a cold, ancient red. He didn't gesture, he simply looked at the chaplain. The chaplain froze. His helmet's Vox grill emitted a static-choked gurgle. He wasn't seeing Lucifer, he was seeing the void behind him. The absolute, desolate truth of a being older than his stars. The faith that was his armor became a lens, focusing Lucifer's true nature directly into his soul. The Crozius fell from nerveless fingers. The chaplain dropped to his knees, a low, despairing moan escaping him. The other Marines stared, paralyzed by terror. Lucifer's eyes returned to normal. He straightened his ruined jacket, wincing at the burn. "You see? Manners. Now, I need a drink. Something to wash the taste of whatever this is out of my mouth." Directions to the nearest establishment that isn't a trench. A low, grinding laugh echoed across the battlefield, a sound that made the very air feel greasy. The shadows around a pile of corpses deepened and swirled. From them, a figure coalesced, 8 feet tall, muscle coiled under brass-colored skin, hooves of black iron. A pair of colossal, leathery wings unfurled. It held a massive flaming axe, a Bloodthirster of Khorne. Its voice was the sound of continents grinding together. A strong soul, a mountain of pride and wrath. Khorne offers you a place in the pits. Your skull will adorn my master's throne. Lucifer pinched the bridge of his nose. Of course, the local wildlife. Tell me, do you lot do anything besides bellow and collect trophies? It seems a one-note existence. The Bloodthirster roared, a wave of psychic fury that shattered the remaining glass in the wrecked tanks. It charged. This was different. This wasn't faith. This was pure, anarchic power. The demon's axe swung. Lucifer didn't bother with the invisible shield this time. He caught the haft of the axe, bare-handed. The impact created a shockwave that flattened the remaining Space Marines. The ground cracked under Lucifer's feet. For a moment, they were locked, strength against strength. The Bloodthirster's furnace breath washed over Lucifer. He grimaced. "And your breath is atrocious. Don't they have infernal mints in the warp?" Enraged, the Bloodthirster pushed. Lucifer was forced back a step. A spark of something, not pain, but strain, flashed in his eyes. He was stronger, but this thing, it was a force of nature. With a grunt of effort, Lucifer twisted, using the demon's momentum. He wrenched the axe from its grasp, and, in one fluid motion, swung it backwards. Thwunk! The demon's own axe head buried itself in its shoulder. It bellowed in pain and rage, ichor that burned like acid spraying the ground. "My turn," Lucifer said, dropping the axe. His form seemed to expand, not in size, but in presence. From his back, wings erupted, not feathery, not bat-like. They were made of shadow and cold fire, fragments of a broken divinity, drinking the light from the air around them. He leapt, not flying, but moving with terrible purpose. He grabbed the Bloodthirster by one of its horns and the wrist of its wounded arm. "Let's see if you can regrow this." He pulled. With a sound of tearing reality and snapping bone, he ripped the demon's arm from its socket. The Bloodthirster screamed, a universe of pain. Lucifer swung the severed limb like a club, smashing the creature in the head once, twice, 3 times, driving it to its knees. He stood over the dazed, bleeding monster, breathing heavily. His wings smoldered. His suit was torn, splattered with demonic ichor. He looked ruffled, truly, genuinely annoyed. "You've ruined a perfectly tailored suit. Do you have any idea how hard it is to get blood of this pH out of silk?" He raised the severed arm for a final blow. "If you're enjoying this divine intervention, do ensure the Infinite Galaxy Multiverse channel is subscribed. You won't want to miss the main event." And the world shimmered. The battlefield dissolved into a kaleidoscope of impossible colors and geometries. The sky was a screaming mosaic. The ground was a shifting puzzle of non-Euclidean shapes. The Bloodthirster, the Marines, the wreckage, all gone. Lucifer stood alone in a labyrinth of madness. A voice, a million whispering voices speaking as one, slithering into his mind. A puzzle, an anomaly, a new piece on the board. Let us see where you fit, little spark. Lucifer spun, his wings held tight. The whispering was incessant, suggesting lies, revealing truths he buried, showing him possible futures where he was a slave, a god, a corpse. A maze. How pedestrian. I built the original, you know. It had better lighting. He walked, but the path changed behind him. Stairs led to walls, doors opened into voids. A mirror showed him not his reflection, but his brother, Amenadiel, weeping. He smashed it. Illusions, parlor tricks for unformed minds. Is it? Or is it the truth you hide from? The love you rejected? The kingdom you abandoned? You are a thing of desire, little devil, and I am the architect of desire. Pain lanced through Lucifer's skull. Not physical, but the pain of cosmic loneliness, of his father's silent disapproval, of hell's endless draining tedium. He stumbled. "My desires are my own," he gritted out. "They are not threads for you to pull, you chattering crow." He concentrated, not on the maze, but on his own core, the unbreakable will that defied heaven, the pride that chose hell over servitude. He didn't try to navigate the labyrinth. He rejected its premise. He closed his eyes and thought of his piano, the weight of a crystal glass, the sound of genuine laughter in Lux, the simple, complex taste of a perfect cocktail. When he opened them, his pupils were not red, but burning white gold. The light of the divine he once was, not as a servant, but as a weapon. "I am not a puppet." He slammed his fists together. A wave of pure will radiated from him. It didn't shatter the labyrinth. It burned it. The impossible geometry scorched, blackened, and peeled away like burning film, revealing the raw, shrieking stuff of the warp beneath before that too recoiled. The voice of Tzeentch screamed in a trillion frustrated whispers, then fled. Lucifer stumbled back onto the real battlefield, the labyrinth gone. He was on his knees, his wings flickering weakly. He was panting, sweat and ichor on his brow. The effort was immense. He looked up. He was surrounded. On one side stood a phalanx of grey knights, their silver armor gleaming, Nemesis force weapons humming with anti-demon power, led by a stern Justicar. On the other stood a ragged but massive Chaos warband, a mix of traitor guardsmen and hulking Chaos Space Marines, led by a snarling sorcerer whose eyes bled warp fire. Both sides stared at him, then at each other. The Bloodthirster's dissolving corpse lay between them. The sorcerer pointed a clawed finger. "The anomaly is ours. Its power will fuel the ascent of the gods. It is a warp entity of unprecedented classification. It will be captured, studied, and destroyed for the Emperor," the Justicar intoned. They ignored each other, both focusing on the kneeling, exhausted devil. Lucifer slowly, painfully got to his feet. His wings vanished. His suit was in tatters. He was bleeding light from a cut on his forehead, a golden, ethereal substance. He looked at the two armies, the pinnacles of this universe's brutal polarity, and he started to laugh, a raw, hoarse, utterly humorless sound. You wretched, screaming children, you wage your tiny, brutal war over this speck of dirt for gods who see you as fuel or pawns. You think this is corruption? This is damnation? He stood to his full height. The laughter died, replaced by a quiet, cosmic fury. The air grew deathly cold again. The wound on his head stopped bleeding light, the skin knitting closed. "You have no conception of what I am. I am not your weapon. I am not your prize. I am the king of the pit you fear in your nightmares. I am the void that waits when all your petty hatreds burn out." He stretched out his hands, one toward the Grey Knights, one toward the Chaos Warband. "You want to see hell? Let me give you a glimpse." From his outstretched palms, no fire erupted, no lightning. Instead, a silence poured forth, a wave of absolute soul-chilling nullity. The Grey Knights felt their psychic connection to the Emperor's tarot snuff out. Their runes went dark. Their faith became a hollow echo in a vacuum. They clutched their heads, staggering. The Chaos Sorcerer shrieked as his connection to the warp was severed. The whispers of his gods were cut off. The power sustaining his mutated body flickered. His lesser followers collapsed, gasping, their bodies rejecting the sudden absence of the chaos that sustains them. Lucifer walked forward, through the no-man's land between the crippled armies. He was not attacking them. He was erasing his presence from their reality, creating a bubble of existential void. He passed the Justicar, who was on one knee trying to recite a litany that would not form in his mind. "Your light is a candle," Lucifer said quietly. "Mine is the absence that existed before the candle was lit." He reached the edge of the battlefield, where the scarred earth met the basalt of a mountain range. He didn't look back. With a final tearing effort of will, he ripped a new portal open. This one was not gold. It was the color of obsidian and dying stars. He paused on the threshold, looking over his shoulder at the crippled forces, at the nightmarish sky, at the whole terrible, magnificent, ugly galaxy. A look of utter, exhausted contempt settled on his face, etched with something new. A grim, unwilling respect. What a profoundly, unforgivably terrible place. He stepped through the portal. It snapped shut behind him, leaving only the cold silence, which slowly faded, replaced once more by the distant thunder of a war that would never end. The portal opened in the back office of Lux. Lucifer stumbled through, collapsing into his high-backed leather chair. He was a mess. His suit was shredded and stained with substances that smoked slightly. He smelled of blood, promethium, and ozone. A deep fatigue older than time weighed on him. "Rough night?" a voice asked. Lucifer looked up. A Manadiel stood in the doorway holding a bottle of top-shelf whiskey and 2 glasses. He looked concerned. Lucifer managed a weak, bloody smile. "You could say that. Took a vacation. The locale was overrated." Amenadiel poured 2 fingers, pushed 1 glass across the desk. Lucifer grabbed it, his hand trembling slightly, and downed it in 1 gulp. He shuddered. "You're hurt," Amenadiel observed. "Not in any way that matters," Lucifer replied. "In a way that informs." He looked at his reflection in the dark window. Behind him, the sparkling, sinful, beautiful skyline of Los Angeles was a balm. "I've just been to a universe, brother, where they've made a religion of despair, where the concepts of good and evil are so blunt they're used as clubs, where the light is just as cruel as the dark." Amenadiel sat, silent, listening. "It's clarifying. Our little dramas, Dad's ineffable plan, Mum's tantrums, even Hell's bureaucracy. It has nuance. It has style. However messed up it is, it's ours." He poured himself another drink, this time sipping it slowly, savoring the complex mortal flavors. "I believe I've just gained a newfound appreciation for what we have." "Which is?" Amenadiel asked. Lucifer met his brother's gaze. The ancient fury, the strain, the horror was still there, deep in his eyes. But over it, a layer of hard-won, cynical peace. A universe where the devil can still enjoy a good drink. He raised his glass. Amenadiel, after a moment, raised his. "And a universe, dear viewer, with more tales to tell. For your next journey across the multiverse, the destination is clear. Infinite galaxy multiverse. Your portal awaits. Now, do be a darling and subscribe." They drank in silence, as somewhere impossibly far away in a galaxy of only war, a legend began to spread of a dark angel who silenced the gods and walked away.